Hello, haere mai, and welcome to this, the third and final episode in the Morgile saga. So far, Morgile has shown us that he can't draw lines, he doesn't know how Polaris works, and thinks that constellations have never changed. Wonder what he has in store for us today.
There are really only two factors which have allowed the ball Earth theory to survive as long as it has.
Awesome. Does this mean that we're finally getting into the guts of this conspiracy nonsense?
First is, of course, the forced indoctrination of every last one of us during our formative years.
By this, of course, he means education.
While the globe Earth theory is utterly absurd and fantastically illogical, when we're just children, we can easily be convinced of pretty much anything.
And if you're a globe-denying flatard, you'll believe anything that your king or your queen will tell you.
Many of us remember being incredulous the first time we were told that our clearly flat and stationary world was a spinning ball. Any arguments we might have mustered against the ball Earth theory were quickly shut down by some authority figure, be it a parent or a teacher, who was also indoctrinated into the same belief system during their formative years.
I think Morgile is using the word indoctrination when he really means education. That is what I have just said. Yeah, I know, Yuri. I'm trying to make another point. So, if you were in class and you said 1 plus 1 equals 7, then I would expect a parent or a teacher to quickly correct you. You know, much the same as if you said the Earth was flat.
The deception involved with the ball Earth theory is unique in a sense that it is a self-reinforcing doctrine cloaked in the guise of science.
I think y'all getting your spheres and pizzas mixed up a bit there, boy.
Anyone who questions the standard narrative regarding infinite space and the spinning ball Earth is instantly ostracized, ridiculed, and deemed either stupid or mad or misled at best.
You mean like the Italian monk Bruno, who was imprisoned and then brutally executed for his proposition on infinite space. And you're going to sit there and have a wee cry about us not returning to those dark ages.
The alienation of anyone so much as questioning the doctrine of Earth rotundity.
Earth's what? Morgile, are you just making up words in order to make yourself sound more photosynthesis?
Prevents most people from even considering what happens to be the truth as a viable hypothesis. The second element of deception is the whopping and intricate lies coming from the world's space agencies, focusing primarily on NASA.
Why just NASA? Soviet Union got first satellite in space, first man in space, first spaceport, first probe to moon, first rover on moon. All of this, and you focus solely on NASA. And that just highlights the closed-mindedness and unimaginativeness of the flat earthers' thinking. They will get the extreme tunnel vision, will only see what they want to see, and they will ignore everything else.
The American culture holds a special place for our beloved space agency, and most Americans see NASA as a wholesome, honest, underfunded agency which is only concerned with science and furthering humankind's presence in the solar system.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that it is an underfunded agency that's sole focus is on science and the furtherment of space exploration.
Unfortunately, the veneer of a neutral science space agency only runs skin deep. Under closer scrutiny, it becomes clear that NASA was created specifically to deceive the world.
How? And why? Also, who were the deceivers before NASA? Okay, who were the masters of the lie then?
After World War II, there was a vacuum of power left in the wake of the toppled Nazi regime. The technologies being created by the Nazis at the time were far superior to the technologies being used by the Allied forces. It's no surprise then that the United States and Russia couldn't suck up Nazi scientists fast enough.
So the Nazis developed nuclear weapons and the M1 Garand? No, I know what you're talking about. You meant rocket science. And you are right. Werner von Braun and his team were decades ahead of the Yanks and the Soviets. So why wouldn't these powers employ them?
Through covert means, the United States smuggled thousands of Nazi scientists into the United States after the Second World War. Many of the high-profile heads of NASA were indeed high-level Nazis, and were in fact brought into the fold of the U.S. military and space agencies under false pretenses to the American public.
Yeah, Roger, we'll keep an eye out for that. This is Foxtrot Echo 1, out. Okay, firstly, NASA wasn't around at the end of World War II. It was established in 1958. Second, those scientists weren't brought on to help America get into space at first. They were brought in to help construct military missiles and rockets. Now, it was the US Navy that had the first shot at putting an American satellite aloft with the Vanguard rocket. Of course, this was after Soviet Union had launched Sputnik. Also, to the cover-up point, not every decision made by a government or the military should be made public. To do so could cost the lives of soldiers serving. Now, in the case of Operation Paperclip, it was kept secret mostly because the American public didn't understand the science behind the rocketry and why the Americans needed these scientists. Much in the same way as the Flat Earth community has an uproar every time NASA launches a new satellite.
The American sentiment against German and Japanese citizens was palpable in the years following the fall of Berlin, so it was necessary for the United States government to secretly infuse the military and space industrial complex with people like Kurt Debus, Eberhard Rees, Arthur Rudolph, and Werner von Braun, Operation Paperclip members who were awarded the NASA Distinguished Service Medal in 1969.
These great men did not receive their medals for deceiving anybody. They got them for their outstanding service to science and for getting mankind to the moon. But tell me, what honours have you received, Morgile? None? That's right, because no one has ever received medals for purposely trying to deceive anybody.
Since NASA has been caught essentially red-handed lying about infinite space and faking their missions to other worlds, it becomes clear that by the time such Nazi scientists were being placed into extremely high-level positions at NASA, their primary directive was propaganda, well above any sort of science or space exploration.
Now, when entire nations has NASA been caught red-handed? Y'all gonna come up with claims like that there, Morgile? Y'all best be backing them up there, son.
In closing, I recently watched the 2015 documentary called Skyline. It's about the space elevator that was drawn up in plans during the early 2000s. One of the things that caught my attention was the fact that the company, or the CEO of the company that was trying to get funding to create the space elevator, was pitching the idea to all of the alphabet soup agencies, as he says, and none of the agencies wanted to touch his idea with a 10-foot pole.
Now, I haven't seen this documentary, so I can't comment, but maybe, just maybe, NASA turned them down because of the costs involved. Remember, you said that they were an underfunded agency. Now, he goes ahead and he plays a big portion of this documentary. I'm not going to do that, but if you would like to see it, link to his video will be in the description below. Feel free to check it out.
Now, as a flat earther, it's clear that the reason for this is because, well, space doesn't exist, the Earth isn't a spinning ball, and so you cannot build a space elevator around the spinning ball Earth.
Or as a normal person, it's because of cost or other, maybe environmental factors.
Now, I don't believe that the people responsible for designing and trying to fund the space elevator were somehow deceiving or deceptive in any way, shape, or form. I believe they 100% believe what they were trying to do was legitimate, just as those responsible for designing and engineering satellites have no idea that they're not actually in orbit around a ball Earth.
You do know that the people who design and build the satellites do get to see them go up, and in some places actually monitor them, right?
The mainstream media has recently been trying to snipe the credibility and sanity of flat earthers by releasing several hit piece style documentaries which are presented as being neutral, but in reality they are taking underhanded and thinly veiled jabs at the sanity and clarity of the flat earthers.
The sanity and clarity of flat earthers. Geez, that's almost the definition of an oxymoron. Also, are you trying to say that the Logan Paul documentary was a hit piece? Interesting. You know, we better keep that one confidential.
I think it's a shame that they are unable to showcase the actual cogent proofs and arguments for flat Earth, and instead resort to underhanded tactics to try and sully flat earthers' good name and try to obfuscate the actual proofs and arguments for flat Earth by presenting straw man arguments which are easily shot down.
In other words, the exact opposite to what Morgile has done in his entire video. He has misled, lied, misrepresented facts, used strongman arguments, and the list goes on. Morgile, you are one of the most dishonest flat earthers out there. And to everyone watching, I hope that they now see you for what you really are. Nothing more than a lying con man. And that's it. We've come to the end of our Morgile saga. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you to my executive producer Marvel Girl for recommending this one to me. It's been a lot of fun showing the world just exactly what type of a con man Morgile actually is. Secondly, I want to acknowledge a great feat from one of our own, Dead Kennedy in Space. Now, despite going through a rough patch, he's managed to release several interesting books that are now available online. Not to mention, he started his own merchandise store. Links to both his books and his merchandise will be in the description, and I do recommend you go check them out. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching and making it to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please give it that thumbs up. If you're new here, we really would appreciate the subscription. And if you haven't already, links to Morgile Volume 1 and 2 will also be in the description. But until next time, ka kite.
Do you want to know what it is? Remember.
What the? Oh, this stupid TV.
Logical, anti-flatter.
Anti-flatter? Well, hey, bud, but what are you doing in my TV?
We need your help again, man.
Oh, man, what's wrong with the penguins?
No, it's got nothing to do with the penguins this time.
Oh, well, that's good. But what do you need, my friend? I'm always here for you.
We're initiating Shill Initiative.
Oh, I see.